So we're working on doing the A&A water-cooled turbo install in the car right now. And while we have the car apart, I am going to change the exhaust setup a little bit, do a little bit more of a sleeper setup. And while I have all that off, we bought one of the upgraded intercooler systems for the turbo side of things, I guess, for lack of better terms. So CBR makes a OEM location replacement. I think it goes in the intake manifold for the air-to-water intercooler system that comes on these cars. Now, the factory unit works pretty good, but they are notorious for cracking and getting coolant into the motors, or filling the intake plenum full of coolant and then hydrolocking motors. So we're doing this as a preventative thing. Plus, we get a little bit benefit, better cooling in the intake air temp department. Pretty nice unit as well. So I'm going to show you both of them here side by side. This is your upgrade unit. This is your OEM unit. So these tanks over here are notorious for cracking and failing or splitting down here or on one of these fins here and getting coolant into the intake system, which is not good. Big no-no. I'm going to keep this as a spare backup in case somebody else needs one, or for some reason this fails, that we're not completely out. But very nice construction, large size intake here. A little bit better cooling properties here with this core, as it's just a better design. So I'm going to get that installed. Okay, so we got the CBR intercooler system installed. Fits well, just drops right in, bolted down, hoses go on like factory, just straight swap, plug and play. Give you a little idea, this is what it looks like. And all you gotta do is pull the 10 mil here, here, and here, and here, and the three Torx 40 in the bed, and you can just swing this bracket out of the way and pull this out and put the new one in and swing this back out. Obviously you gotta pull the exhaust and stuff, but like I said, we're already changing the exhaust setup on this and we're getting ready to do the water-cooled turbo install, so it was just convenient to do this at the same time. Alright, the A&A water-cooled turbo is installed. Just need to run the coolant lines, hook a few things up, and we'll prime it and fire it, check for leaks, and finish putting it back together. Transfer over the water-cooled turbo upgrade 1200cc files over to the Power Vision real quick. Cool. And then we are going to flash level 6 water-cooled turbo WCT right there, 1200cc injector file. Alright, almost done. So we have the stock fuel pump out of the car now. We're going to be going to the A&A high flow fuel pump. In the kit you're going to have the pump, rubber hose, a fuse, because you got to bump the fuse size up, and the fuse box, spade connector, 2 hose clamps. So we'll have this in there. I don't use these. I run the factory fuel sock, as these are very, very similar, very well, maybe Holley hydromats. They work very well, so get more surface area there for fuel in the sock versus this. This helps keep fuel starvation from happening, especially out in the dunes. So we're gonna get this swapped over right now. So when it's all done, this is pretty much what it'll look like. Make sure you clock the fuel sock properly for the tank. But this is pretty much what it's going to look like. Go drop this in now. Make sure you put your gas tank gasket back on. Well, should be good to go. So our boys over at TurboSmart hit us up and want us to try one of their dual port blow-off valve kits for the XP Turbo, XP Pro. So We got one over to us. We have it set up. We have the different spring in here. It's a little bit lighter. We're gonna try that as we had some issues with the other spring being a little too stiff. We have it plumbed in this configuration, so we're gonna get this installed in the car and see how it works. Pretty nice unit though. And since we're sitting in the car, I will show you guys some of what's going on the inside now that's pretty much buttoned up. I don't know if you've seen these PRP seats that my boy Justin over there helped me design. So we just went out and did some data logs so I can send those over to Mike, just kind of see where the car's at. The RPM is still a little high at 55 miles an hour, which is what I'm looking at right now. You can see the peak RPM here versus mile per hour. So that's what I'm looking at right now, is 55 miles an hour where we're at for RPM. It's a little higher than we want to be. So we need to bring that down quite a bit actually. So looks like we're going to have to add some more weight to the weights on the clutch. Other than that, data log looks good. So I think we're going to make that adjustment, send these over to him. That's going to finish this up pretty much. We're about this close to being done with the performance stuff on this car. So